What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Formula America podcast. We're your hosts, Kurt and Dylan, and this weekend, Formula One is heading to one of the most storied, classical, yet impractical tracks on the entire calendar.
Especially when the cars are the size of buses.
It's wild. Going to the streets of Grand Prix of Monaco this weekend, and I was watching the highlights a little bit ago, last year's race, and I always forget how much. First off, we'll get into that debacle of last year's race, but I forget how much those cars bunch up into
the hairpin.
Into the hairpin. They were just like clumsily like going next to it. Was like bumper to bumper traffic.
And if you're Lance Stroll, you just send it anyway. It's that spot looks wide enough for half a car. I'll fit.
And then blame everybody else. Classic Lance Stroll. It's like clearly your car's not going to fit. I like DC was saying he tried to take it around the outside. I've never seen it done before, but
I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying I've never seen it done before.
It was impossible. It was impossible.
And if you're Checo, you're just playing bumper cars the entire race. And
Jesus,
here's some of my front wing over here, and here's some more front wing over here, and this is a nice new front wing to destroy.
This was another race to forget for Checo last year, and Checo and Lance Stroll, I don't know how many collisions or in like trips into the wall they each had, but it was the total was pretty high. It was pretty high.
It was a lot. And then at the end of the race, it rains, and the only two teams did not go with the intermediates was Alonso and Alpine with Ocon, and that. I think Alonso would have won the race if they'd put it on intermediates first.
Yep. I was just watching. He was Max had 24 seconds or something like that.
Yep.
And so Max would have had to pit and probably would have came out right behind Alonso.
Yep.
And so Alonso most likely would have won that race if they didn't pit him for slick tires in the beginning of the rainstorm.
Yeah. One of the things that I just one of those odd things you remember, but I remember at the end of last season, a guy did a full analysis that if Max did not race at all in 2023, what would the standings have been? And the one I do remember is that Alonso would have won Monaco, obviously, and he also would have been leading the Drivers' Championship after Monaco if Max hadn't been in the season last year. That's how good Alonso was doing.
If Max's mom had balls, she'd be his dad. So
you heard it here first, folks. Kind of.
Oh man. All right, so last year, like we said, we had starting in quali, we had crashes left and right. We had Checo going out in Q1 completely destroying the car,
slammed that car into the turn.
It was not looking good. And this was right in the beginning of, or not in the beginning, this is kind of in the midst of Checo's crisis last year, so this one definitely
was
help.
On the downhill slide
for sure. Yeah, we saw Lando breaking his front suspension in quali last year, and it's just one of those tracks where Saturday really determines what goes on Sunday. So all these drivers are going completely balls out on the quali laps. So seeing an accident happen in quali is almost guaranteed.
Yeah,
people are pushing it so hard.
And I mean, it's a street track that is open to the public at night. So any rubbering end is gone. So every day is a fresh, slick track. There's no runoff areas, and it awards the driver that takes the most risk and puts it together. And I've actually changed up my predictions a little bit just because this is for the experienced drivers. Your rookies don't win here. You just don't have the confidence.
We got to see last year during quali, Fernando Alonso put in a monster lap and takes provisional pole. By all accounts, he was going to be starting on pole, and then Max Verstappen comes and doesn't even purple the first two sectors and puts together one of the cleanest, just absolutely on the limit final sectors around Monaco.
He found 3
and takes it from him
in the sector 3 alone to take it away from Alonso.
And man, that was I think that was one of those. You could see there's an interview with Danny Rick where he's in the press pen talking, and he's just completely distracted by watching Max do his final lap. It was just one of those just incredible, iconic laps.
Yeah, it really was. So this weekend's it rewards those that take risks that don't toe over the line. So on that, so we're running, as always, the softest tire lineup, C3 through C5. So some stats on this. 77% of races in Monaco. We are at the 62nd race in Monaco, I believe, 63rd. 77% of them have safety cars, and on average, at least 2 safety cars. So it's a traditional one stopper. But everyone always everyone plans for a one stopper, but with the safety cars, the team with the best strategy is also going to win. This race, like you said, Saturday is how you win this race. Sunday is almost up to the rest of the team. As a driver, you have to finish the race. That's really all you have to do, but you have the team strategy, when the safety car hits, how the pit stops go. That makes all the difference on Sunday.
Yeah. Majority of passes happen in the pit lane.
Yep. So it should be a ton of fun. There's so much hype. I texted my buddy this morning. He's actually going to the race in Monaco. So I was hoping to have a leg up on you and get a vibe check from him. So I texted him about 20 minutes ago, and he just landed in Paris, said he hadn't made it to get a vibe check yet. I was like, damn it.
Every one of those, man. One day we're gonna get to this track. We'll rent a yacht and we'll just sit in the marina.
We'll go hang out on Kimmy with his yacht. I'm sure he's pretty
there.
Cool.
We go.
So
all right. Well, probably one thing that makes this weekend super exciting for me is right now we're sitting at a 40% chance of rain on Saturday. And the way it was written was afternoon showers are likely, which is smack in the middle of quali. So, I mean, we might see some actual shaking up of the order here, especially, with how tight this track is. Yep. We could have some people severely out of place, which is going to be interesting come Sunday.
Yeah, it really is. So I'm super excited for it. Let's do these predictions, because I think we're going to have something to talk about.
I think so too, because my predictions haven't looked like this before.
Nope, mine either. So,
all right. So let's see. Who do you got on pole?
I got Max on pole. I think that in the rain, I don't see it, the guy's just driving on another level, and he is so one with that car. I'm not saying this is I know it sounds familiar, but I'm actually on Max's talent more than the car's speed, saying Max will get pole.
It's very hard to put him anywhere other than pole position for quali, just because, like you said, you need somebody who's going to be automatic and is going to be so precise, and Max is that guy.
Yep.
He really is. I have Lando Norris on pole.
Fair enough.
Saying that. I got Norris on
pole. I thought about Norris. Norris doesn't have the best history with the rain, though.
Oh, that's true.
That was true. Part of my. I think I'm gonna. My future prediction is I'm not gonna have Max on pole every time, but I just don't see it here with the rain, with the precision needed. That dude's a machine.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. I just had to go a little bit different. Got a spread to make up here this weekend on points. All right, P3. Who do you got there?
Nico Hülkenberg.
Whoa, man. Could you imagine?
He's going to take that Haas. It's going to rain. He's going to be out of place, and no one's going to be able to pass him. P3.
Oh, my God. Could you imagine? Nico Hülkenberg, once again, the guy with the record for the most race starts without ever scoring a podium. You're calling his first Formula One podium this weekend in Monaco.
I am.
Man, I really want to see that. I don't think there's any Formula One fan that would not want to see Nico Hülkenberg on the podium at some point.
Yep. I mean, K-Mag probably wouldn't, but
Yeah, probably. Okay. You're right. Only one. All right. My P3, I am going with Oscar Piastri.
It's a bold move, man. He's a hell of a driver.
He's great. Look what he's done in quali in the past. Look what he did last weekend. He's great in quali. His car's upgraded. Tire management doesn't really matter as much on this one. So I think he's going to get up front on a good quali session and be able to hold that position.
I'd like to see his completely stoic face and voice up there. No happiness shown.
Oscar, how do you feel? Oh, I'm completely happy. I'm so excited.
Yeah, this is my happy face.
Cool. All right, what about P2?
Lewis Hamilton.
Oh, man, a complete shakeup. Why do you think Mercedes is going to be a P2 this weekend?
Mercedes has been bringing some upgrades. Lewis Lewis around this track is only behind Ayrton Senna and Michael Schumacher on wins and podiums. Like he loves this track. He's a precise driver. I really went back and forth on this, but I think experience is going to come through. And I went back and forth honestly between him and Alonso, but I don't see that Aston Martin being as competitive as it was last year, and so I think I'm going to put Lewis up there.
Yeah, you know what? I kind of agree with you on the Alonso Aston Martin thing. That car is definitely taken a step back, I believe.
Yep.
And you're right, man. Lewis is a hard one to discount here, and their upgrades. I mean, they didn't do that bad last time. They're kind of quiet, both of them, but they did pretty well. So,
and
I think
this
there
track,
could be a chance.
You know, the Mercedes Achilles heel is the straightaways and the top speed. You're only at full throttle 30% around this track. There's not a top end high speed place here. So I think that's going to favor the Mercedes a little bit because I think that's where the other cars pull away from them.
All right. Well, my P2, I have Max Verstappen.
You're going to have Lando on P1. Second win, maybe. He's going to be a Monaco Grand Prix winner.
I'm not going to say yet.
All right. P1, I have Max.
All right, so back with Max on there. You think he's gonna? You had him on pole. He's just gonna hold station.
He's gonna hold station. He's gonna win it. I'm allowed to have some kind of stability there when I'm putting Nico Hulkenberg in P3. All right.
I know. It's like you're almost like the It's like your predictions are the Formula One version of a mullet. It's like business in the front and party in the back.
That's awesome. It's the best analogy ever.
All right, so my P1, I do have Lando Norris, second race win, Monaco winner, and here's the reason why. I think it's going to be a double McLaren podium because they have probably one of the best special edition liveries I've ever seen.
Bro.
They've got the new Ayrton Senna tribute yellow and green livery. It looks so good, and normally when McLaren brings a new livery, they do pretty well.
That shit's hot. I noticed your Ayrton Senna hat in the background.
Yeah, you see. Boop, boop.
Other side, there it is.
So yeah, I think Lando and Oscar up there, both ends of the podium. I think we're gonna have it double McLaren podium.
Be cool with that. What's your wild card?
My wild card. He's also a former Monaco race winner. I've got Danny Rick, and I've got Danny Rick finishing the race in P8 or better.
Ooh, not even P10. You're going P8.
Not even P10. P8 or better.
I'd like to see that. I've got one of the Ferraris will DNF.
Oh my God. Poor Charles Leclerc. You know it's going to be him. You know it's going to be him. Oh, he has the worst luck around here.
If he even finishes the race, it's good luck.
You know, last year he came in P6. So,
yeah.
Yes, he did. Came in P6 last year, so he finally finished one. Man,
I wasn't bold enough to call him out. I'm just going to call a Ferrari will not finish the race.
If you guys have not seen I believe it was 2022 or 2021 when he crashed in qualifying and they decided to not replace the gearbox. And then during the formation lap, Charles Leclerc realizes that he's not going to be able to race. It was complete heartache.
From pole.
Yes.
He probably
from pole
would have
position.
won that race.
Oh man. What a heartbreak. Charles Leclerc, we could do an entire podcast on all the heartbreak moments. Remember a few years back when he was leading the race?
That'd be a long podcast.
A few years back, it would have been his first Formula One victory, and his turbos or something go out, and he blows a huge lead and winds up not even finishing.
Remember when he crashed on the formation lap into a wall?
Yep. Oh, man, poor guy.
Anyways. He went like 3 years straight here in Monaco, not finishing the race.
Yes. Yeah, it was not good.
And, one of them's going to continue that streak this weekend, I think.
All right. So you have a Ferrari DNF during the race.
Yep.
Is it going to be a crash or is it going to be mechanical? You think it's going to be a crash?
I think it'll be a crash.
I don't think that's a far stretch, so I could see that happening.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be a crazy weekend. The rain always, I don't know if I'd rather have the rain on Saturday or Sunday. Both would be awesome, but like,
Both, I mean, either one. Yeah. I mean, Sunday was awesome last year because it was anybody's
a
game.
dry Monaco can be the most boring race of the year by far. Like,
but we saw real quick that a wet Monaco can completely flip that on its head.
So, but I don't know. Rain on Saturday has me excited just for the shakeup of what it could mean.
Yep. God forbid they let somebody like K-Mag finish pretty high up in the grid. It's going to be chaos for everybody else.
I would love to see the commentary going into Sunday. Just fuck.
Oh man. Well, so we've got Monaco coming up this weekend. Our review pod, our recap pod might be a day or so late. I'm actually traveling to Europe this weekend, so hopefully my goal is to find a nice little English pub to watch the race from on Sunday. But we will be back next week with the recap of this, and we'll see what happens. I think I'm pretty excited for this double McLaren podium.
I'd be totally fine with that. I hope it's a great weekend.
Yeah, I definitely think it will be. All right, guys, if you like this podcast, make sure to leave us a rating and review. Follow us on Instagram, Formula_America. Also, check out, we're uploading on YouTube as well now, Formula America Podcast. And I think that might be it, Dylan. You got anything else?
That's all I got.
All right, well, on that note,
stay classy, America.
We'll see you next time.